to understand the other subject. If you don't know what is a solvency test, then you won't be understand what is a distribution, right? If you don't know who is a shareholder or they are right, then maybe majority rule you can't understand. Because each and every topic is interrelated here. Therefore, the regular attendance, so at least to keep in touch with each and every lesson will definitely, yes, help you to smooth going of the class. Even though you absent, just go through what we have done previously, then it is easy to go through. However, even though I said this is act or so and so, there are some legal principles behind each and every section of the compliance act as well. Therefore, if you understand those reasons, rationale behind each and every section, even the corporate law, we can make a good subject, interesting subject, right? So some students, even though they hate it, once they got used to the subject, they love it. As an example, I myself hate compliance law when I was in the law faculty. But that is the fact I had to teach, right? So many other things also happen. Then sometimes people have to love or marry the people they hate sometimes. So this is much better than that. So sometimes these things happen. We never think of marrying such a girl, but sometimes at the end of the day we can see they have children now, right? So these type of things also happen, right? Therefore, and also sometimes things change. Then even though you don't love some subject in middle of first year, second year, finally you will get used to it. Sometimes we hate some people, some lectures in first year, second year. Once you pass out, we think that man is also not bad. So he was there. Sometimes those things, yes, with our maturity, experience, etc. But really, this is something that we have to go through. Right? At least it is a part of your syllabus, so you have to think. Therefore, try to make it interesting because we have to make learning an interesting, fun thing, right? So I don't want to make it like realizing and get stressed, right? And learn for you. Therefore, we try to make interesting sessions. And whenever you feel hungry, whenever you feel boring, just let me know. Right? If you want to go over one day, just let us know. So we can make an online lecture for 2 hours one day instead of that, right? So in that way, we can get this thing interesting. That's why I said that I plan to have at least 2 guest lectures that way. So you can also introduce, if you know the good lawyers, then we can. Anyway, the corporate law, you know, there are very limited lawyers, they practice the corporate law. Congregation, House of Kaplan, so they earn good money. So all the cases are only before the commercial high court. So there are few corporate lawyers. It is very unfortunate in this case. Sometimes people are not much aware of the concept of corporation. That is why even some judges, some cases, there are personal liabilities. But it is properly done. The company should be liable for all that default obligation of the company. But still, we believe that some people are liable for the company itself. Probably you will get them, yes, very nicely, you will understand it at the end of few lessons. But it's the concept and what's there also. And also during this class, anyway, you can stop me at any time, right? Even online people, you can stop me at any time. And also, yes, try to come regularly. Apart from that, if you're hungry, you can eat something, drink something. I don't mind what you drink, but yeah, as long as you have to share it as names. And also, yes, when you eat something that is, you can eat anyway, right? But try to make sure they are not smelly food. Right. So, right. Have you received your syllabus? This is upload the links now. I'll try to upload the syllabus by this week. Right? So objective of this topic is, right? So probably, yes, to develop your knowledge about the concept of cooperation. Even though I have mentioned here comparative area below partnership, like we discuss, but we don't discuss them in separate topics because it's not in your syllabus. However, you do want to have a good knowledge of contract law and agency law to understand the concept of cooperation. Because corporations, companies are fiction. They cannot act themselves. They do need the help of the individuals to get their things done. Those individuals are agents. And therefore, you need to have some knowledge of agency law to understand the contract law. But whenever they are must, I will explain this, right? And also to guide the students in the legal principles involved in formation, ownership, and management of the contract, right? So, and also to, yes, equip students with the knowledge of the Companies Act of Sri Lanka. Basically, mainly Companies Act, but there are some other laws like the CSA rules and regulations, state tax, good governance code, like there are some other laws which are also part of corporations. And also to be familiar with the common law rules and principles, right? So, online people, are you all in the, is there anyone from the other Commonwealth countries? Like New Zealand, Australia, UK? Anyone from other Commonwealth countries?
I'm from UK, sir, Scotland.
Okay, right. So our company law was almost similar to the English law until 2007, right? But from 2007, so we deviate from the English company law, but still we keep some good side of the English law. As an example, when it comes to the director's duties, English common law is also part of Sri Lankan company law, right? But basically, company law is now not deviate from the English common law. Our law is now more similar to a New Zealand Canadian system more than the English system. Right. Right. So, right. So New Zealand is very similar. In fact, this is almost like a copy of the New Zealand law. New Zealand is also a common law, Commonwealth country. Right. So what is meant by the common law? Those are the terms that sometimes be used. What is meant by common law? So if you are in London or any other part?
Scotland, sir.
Scotland, right. But to remember when you are in Scotland, Harry Potter.
Sorry, sir.
But to remember when you see all buildings and all, probably all are
Yeah.
but we have seen that Harry Potter, right?
Yes, yes. And also whiskey.
That's
Scotland
right.
is very famous for whiskey.
Have you already taken? Expecting, yes, yes, yes. Visit Sri Lanka, we expecting you, right? One day, yes. Another guy. Yeah. Okay, right. Whiskey is very famous, I know, yes. Right. So what is mean by common law? So what's a good name, please?
I'm Gayan, sir.
Guy, you know that Scottish law is very similar to Sri Lankan law more than English law.
Sorry, sir. We don't have any idea about that.
It's similar to Sri Lankan law more than the English law. Even though it's a part of UK, we have a separate law in Scotland. Yes.
Okay, sir.
English law is only there in England and Wales. For the English, Scotland and Ireland, there are two separate laws. So what is meant by common law? Those are general knowledge, nothing corporate law, right? What's meant by the term common law? Common law means law used by the English common law judges. Right? The law used by the English, decided by the English judges are known as the common law. Right? So the countries which follow English traditions are known as the common law countries. Accordingly, America, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, right? Those all are common law countries because they follow the English traditions. The law decided by English judges are known as the common law. Right? And also in England, Parliament also make laws. They are known as the English statutory law. English common law means the law decided by English judges. Right? Countries which follow English traditions are known as the common law countries. As an example, in Sri Lanka, our agency law is English common. Right? In Sri Lanka, almost many parts are governed by English law. So agency law, our law says the law should be as same as the law governing England. until our parliament passes a law. So our parliament has not passed law to govern the agency law. Therefore, still our law is the English common law, because we don't believe that English statutory law is a part of our country. That is because if the English statutory law is a part of our country, then the English Westminster Parliament can pass law to govern Sri Lanka. That's not good for the sovereign country. Therefore, whenever it refers to English law, it is the English common law, not English statutory law. Right? So, term common law means the laws decided by English judges. The countries who follow English traditions are known as the common law countries. The other countries, almost all other countries except UK in Europe, are known as the civil law countries. They have a different system of law. Right? Right. In Sri Lanka, we use the term common law to mean completely different meaning, right? So if someone asks what's the Sri Lanka's common law, if someone says Roman Dutch law, that is correct. That is in different meaning, right? So we use the Roman Dutch law as a country's common law because when there are gaps or no provision in our special laws, Israeli law, Muslim law, Canadian law, and all, then we use the Roman Dutch law principle to fill that gap. In that sense, we completely different. We have a complete different meaning for the term common law. But all over the world, even if you look at the dictionary or whatever, common law means the law decided by English judges, right? So therefore, to familiar with the Companies Act and the common law rules, right? And also, we'll try to compare the Sri Lankan law with other jurisdictions. So, and also, it is common for the law subject to develop the critical thinking, right? That also will help to stop doing and undoing, right? However, another objective of law subject is to avoid then minimize litigation, right? If you have a good knowledge of law, you definitely will not try to file a case wherever there is a cause, right? You will try to minimize them, if possible, avoid the litigation, because who are the real winners of litigation? Whether plaintiff or defendant. The real winners of litigation never will be the plaintiff or defendant, but the lawyers from either side. So whether they win or not, they definitely will win. Therefore, as an educated people, we should try to minimize the litigations. Probably in companies, there are in-house lawyers, they're doing a good job. They try to minimize or limit their disputes within the organization without them going to the courts. Right. So these are the main learning outcomes. So at the end of this course, so you will be able to identify the selected section of the Companies Act and some common law principles, and to use them in simple scenarios whenever necessary. As an example, how to make a distribution, how to make dividends, right? So how to do a solvency test, right? Those type of things you'll be able to get that to apply them in simple scenarios. So basically, at the end of this course, if you have done a reasonable job, you should be able to identify what is company, how to incorporate a company, who are the managers, who are the owners, what they are all of the company. To familiar with the Companies Act and to solve the problems in simple problem in real life scenarios, because in a complex situation, definitely you need to get the advice from the company lawyers. So this is the syllabus in a nutshell that we're going to discuss during our future lessons, right? So introduction that we will do today. Then the agency partnership, I'm not going to discuss in detail because even though it's a part of corporate law, it is not a part of your syllabus, but whenever we are necessary, I will try to explain. And then our next main topic, probably may start today as well, how to form a company, how to incorporate a company. Then the aspects of association, then different type of companies, promoters, pre-incorporation contract, prospectus, capital, shares, debentures, so directors and their duties, secretaries and auditors, company meeting and different type of resolutions, charge, and lastly the company winding up and the termination and non-termination form, right? Amalgamation, mergers, acquisitions, those are non-terminal form of company arrangement, and the terminal form is the winding up, right? So And also we'll try to have another session of corporate governance. So that is what we're going to discuss in our future topics. So this is also the traditional style in my lectures, but I know that you never will read them. Right? However, yes, you do have to have a copy of the comparison. Right? Lecture notes and the comparison you do have to have. Right? For all those additional readings, unless I have given you the assignment or whatever, I know that you won't read them. And probably, yeah, if you are not going to be a company lawyer, I don't think you really need it. Right? But if you're interested in expanding your knowledge, so there are some textbooks, which some of them are available in the CA library. But whenever you want, just let me know, I may be able to provide you a copy. I have a copy of all those. Again, it is must to have a copy of the Companies Act, either soft copy or hard copy by next week, and the lecture notes anyway will be available on your LMS. Right? So this is the norm here. You will have a continuous assessment which gives you 40 marks, and at the end of the semester there is a closed book exam which gives you 60 marks. To pass the exam, you have to get 40% out of both sections. Right? That means even if you get 50 out of 60, but still you won't pass without 16 marks for the continuous assessment. Probably, if you are good enough, it is easy to score for the continuous assessment. So if you take 30 plus marks, definitely it's really easy for you to go for a class. Right? And also guarantee that you will definitely pass if you get the minimum pass mark for the final assessment. So therefore, do a fair job, right? I don't expect you to be perfect. But as a graduate, we have to make sure that we have done some just and fair job for your lecturer, for your subject, for your institution and the university. Right. We will start with the topic. Some of them I will skip anyway because at the start I have mentioned, but I know you are much familiar in theory and practice those things maybe more than me, right? So however, so we're going to discuss about the role of company as a business form, like business forms. So there are different other type of business assets. Like those are some of the business forms that are available in the world. Probably they are available in Qatar, UK, Canada, and other countries as well, because the business forms available here in Sri Lanka are not different from the other side of the country world. The reason was both those business forms were introduced to Ceylon at that time when Ceylon was an English colony. Before that, we had no business, right? We had no partnership, no companies, even during the Dutch period. They were introduced by the English period when Ceylon was an English colony. Therefore, almost all the business forms available here in Sri Lanka can be seen in the other part of the world as well. So currently we can see sole proprietorship, partnership, joint ventures or syndicates. Syndicates are not available here. Corporations or companies, private-public partnership, agencies, franchises, cooperatives, right? So joint ventures, those are the business available here. Things that the ways that you can run your business. So those are available as it is in the other side of the world as well. Do you have the sole proprietorship in Scotland? Holland, yes. In other countries,
Yes.
Qatar, you have them. You have them as convenience too, I think, right?
Yes, sir, there could be.
Yes. They are very less in some countries, like USA, almost there's no sole proprietorship today, right? What about in Qatar? Do you have sole proprietorship?
Yes, sir, it's available.
You do, right? Probably the oldest form of business. In some countries now, they are almost abolished, right? Right. So, what is the advantage and disadvantage of sole proprietorship? I'm not going to have a long discussion with you all know it, right? If I say what's the one main advantage and disadvantage of sole proprietorship? Even if you keep silent, I know you will say the main disadvantage is the unlimited liability, right? Probably you are like me. That's the main advantage, because even if the sole proprietorship asset is not sufficient to pay off the debt, you have to pay. Or sometimes even your wife or spouse have to pay. Right? That's the main disadvantage of the sole proprietorship. Right? That is also there in the partnership as a unlimited liability. Right? So how can you avoid that? That risk before you start business nowadays, maybe. I don't think that. Do people start doing this business in Sri Lanka? Should be very brave people, maybe. Unless it is in the field like IC or something. That's why people go to Bata. Many Sri Lankans are there and they have some startups in Middle East countries nowadays. Right. That you can use your knowledge, experience, how to avoid those risks, right? The one way that you can do is if you are about to start a success job. What you can do, one thing you can do is before you start business, you can transfer your property to someone you trust. At least your residential home. Right? Then you can make sure at least that is available for your spouse and children. Right? Because it's not under your name. Right? Because if you don't have nothing, even though you bankrupt, there's nothing to do. They will sue you, but you don't have nothing. Therefore, nothing to worry. If you can take any loan or whatever, don't fear at all if you don't have any assets. They will declare you as bankrupt, but still they cannot touch your spouse or other people's property. Therefore, that's the one way that you can avoid that is transfer your property for fixed deposit or whatever, one you trust. Don't make it a devastation, okay? You have to make sure that people is a trustworthy person, right? That's one way that you can avoid it. Right? But many people, business people, what they do is they start business. Once they are bankrupt, then they start transferring their property to here and there. That doesn't work, right? That doesn't work, right? You have to do it before you start a business. If you've done it after starting business, once you bankrupt, then maybe end up you being even charged with a criminal case. Fraudulent transaction and all. Right? Therefore, make sure you have to get it done before you start your sole proprietorship. And but there are some advantages of asset for sole proprietorship. Right? Don't believe that concern is the best mode. Sole proprietorship is the worst mode. You don't need to think of that, right? The good example would be a house of fashion. When it was a sole proprietorship at Bumblebee, some duplication road, they did very nicely. Now it is at Borala, limited company. I don't think they do that smoothly too, right? But when they were sole proprietorship, they did very nicely at duplication. Therefore, some business may do better as a sole proprietor. Therefore, we can say this is the exact way to get your business done. Maybe if you need some fund like bakery or something like that, probably you can run it as a sole proprietorship. More than doing this limited company work, if you have no idea to expand or so and so. Right? So therefore, it is the business people to decide what's the best business mode for them to run their business. Right. Another disadvantage of sole proprietorship is that sole proprietorship doesn't mean the business is small, right? As an example, when House of Fashion was sole proprietorship, there are no more than 500 employees. That is possible, right? It's owned by one person. But there may be thousands of employees. The only thing is there is something called vicarious liability. Have you heard that term? It's a legal term, vicarious liability. But I know you know the meaning of that. Like vicarious liability means if any of the employee has done something wrong at whatever, who is liable to compensate? The employer should take the liability of that of the employee. It is called vicarious liability. So another disadvantage of sole proprietorship. As an employer, master, he has to take the responsibility of the act of their or her employee. As an example, if your driver has 6 months or so and so, that people can sue against you as a and you are liable. If you have insurance and all, you don't need to worry. But that liability is there, which is known as the vicarious liability. If you don't need this type of simple things, just let me know so I can skip. Okay. So I'm going to skip anyway some of them because I believe you don't need it, right? So partnership, probably as accountant auditors, it is important type of business for you. Why? All audit firm, accounting firm are what? Firm means partnership. Partnerships are only known as firm. Why you audit firm? BPO is a partnership. Why it is not a limited company? Then you will know almost all the audit firm run as a partnership firm. If you take about the top 100 audit firm, I'm sure at least not top 10 out of first 100 as a limited firm. All run as a firm, partnership. So as the accounting firm, legal firm, medical firm, why audit firm is a firm? Why it is not a limited liability company? Yes. Any auditors or auditors in this country? Okay. In Sri Lanka, anyway, there is a section that corporate body cannot act as auditor. It is a disqualification to be auditor in Sri Lanka. Corporate body cannot act as auditor. Only individuals, so firm can act as auditor in Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka, obviously, you have to be a limited company, or you cannot act as the auditor. So why do you think such a law? There are few countries there's no such a legal requirement, but still limited companies are not popular. You all know BPO, PwC, EY, they KPMG, all are parties. Many countries there are laws. Even though there are no laws in some countries, still the limited companies are not popular as auditor. That is because it is not a limited liability concept, it is not a good type of business form to run a consultancy and professional business. Right? Do you like to have a limited liability person as your auditor? Right? So you know about the role of auditors much better than me, what they do. Right? If they say my liability is 100,000 or 50,000, then whatever they do, their liability is limited. What will happen? Even with unlimited liability, what do they do? That should be the thing. We discuss on auditors, we have topic auditors. So one day you discuss later. But for now, on the partnership law, right? Because if their liability is limited, you can think what will they do. Right? Therefore, the law believes that professionals like auditors, accountants, lawyers, doctors, they should be unlimited liable towards their audit or accounts. Right? So even the general public do not like to have a person with a limited liability to have their accountant, auditor, or legal advisor. Right? So therefore, no, they should be liable without any limit for their action they do, the audit they do, the consultant they do. Right? That's the main reason, and apart from that, there are some other reasons we will discuss them under the auditors. Right? So, relating to the law, there's no such a requirement. There's no, to be a lawyer, there's no such a requirement. But recently there was a Supreme Court judgment delivered less than 1 year ago. A Chinese firm were formed here in Sri Lanka as a limited liability company to provide legal consultation. Then the Bar Association filed a case, saying that limited liability company cannot be a lawyer in Sri Lanka. Right? Then it was decided within 2 years by the Supreme Court. Judgment was delivered a few months ago. And then Supreme Court decided, even though there's no such a law like in auditors, In Sri Lanka, there's no such a law, but court decided limited liability company cannot be an attendant law in Sri Lanka. Right? So their liability should not be limited. And also you never know when it starts and when it ends. When you go to the lawyer, it starts with the negotiation time. Right? So that is not limited to one thing like attesting the deed or something. This is a process. Right? Therefore, it can be a limited liability company, and their liability is terminated only at the end of the death of the attendant. When we sign the deed or whatever, that ends with our death. Until that, we are liable. Right? Therefore, court decided to be a law attendant in Sri Lanka, only individuals and firms can act with without liability, without limited liability. Right? So therefore, in Sri Lanka, now not only lawyers, even lawyers to be a lawyer should be an individual law firm. Limited liability is not permitted. Right? So therefore, I just want to say that some people may say limited liability is the best thing, right? But this is not safe, right? So this type of business, even in UK, legal firm, medical firm, only firm has a firm, not even individuals, right? But they are not also limited liability companies. Right. So what is a partnership? Because partnerships sometimes are similar to a business firm or a limited liability company in the outset, but legally completely two different type of business. Right. From the formation up to the winding up, limited company and partnerships are different. As an example, limited company you only can form very formal way according to the relevant section of the Companies Act. Partnership, if you want, when you go leave this room, you can have a partnership. Right? Partnership is a result of an agreement. But you never will be able to make or form a company with agreement. It is not a result of an agreement. But partnerships are essentially a result of an agreement. If there's no agreement, no partnership. There's no agreement, no partnership. Partnerships are essentially a result of an agreement. That agreement may be either written, oral, or even implied. That is the contract. It is yet another contract. It's a contract between partners. So you know the contract may be written, oral, or implied. So as partnership. But in Sri Lanka, there's another requirement not by the partnership law, but by the prevention of fraudulence has another requirement that in Sri Lanka, if the capital exceeds 1,000 rupees, then that partnership agreement must be written signed by the partners. Right? In other countries, there is no such a requirement. Right? It is a result of agreement. Agreement may be written oral or even implied. Therefore, you can have partnership in that field, but company you can inform informal. It has to be formed very formally according to the section of the Companies Act. And also, as partnership is a result of an agreement, with mutual agreement you can dissolve the partnership. But it is not easy to dissolve a company. The winding up of a company is a very formal procedure, can only be done with a very formal manner according to the Companies Act and the winding up rules. That take time, that take months. It's a very formal procedure. But partnership you can simply dissolve even without any court intervention because it is just an agreement. To dissolve or terminate agreement, you don't need any judges. You can mutually you can get it done. And also, yes, in a partnership, you know, partners are actively participate, they are the owners, they are the managers, and so on and so, right? But in company, concept of company, it's a fundamental principle that owners and management is different. In companies, ownership is to the investors, shareholders, but they have no say in management. But in partnership, it's the partners who manage the business. So if you have any issues, any questions, just let me know. I'm more than happy to answer. Otherwise, I'm going to skip that topic as well. Right? But if you think you need some more knowledge about the partnership, then I can discuss. Right? But I hope to assume that you are well aware of those simple topics. Partnership can
if there is conflict between the employer and employee, and they sue each other. Let's say some employee steal money from the employer. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, there are no issues.
No issue at all. Yes. It's just yet
The third party can sue against the employer to the liability made by the
third parties have option to sue against the employer or employee. But basically, if it is done across the employee during business hours or within the business premises, probably employees also that. But if it's outside business, then you don't need to make level. But some things might happen. In such a case, the court or arbitrator will decide. Right. If you have any special issues, just make a consultation, then I can solve it, right? Right. So joint ventures are another type of business. Right. So joint ventures are another type of business. You also have joint ventures. India, they do very nicely joint ventures. So what's the difference between joint ventures and the partnership? According to your knowledge? Do any of you work for joint ventures? When we opened our economy in 1977, India always went for the joint ventures. Right? What's the difference between the partnership and joint venture? Sometimes some differences are very slight between different types of business organizations. It was discussed in some cases in Australia. So according to the Australian judges, so they are in the opinion that the main difference between the joint ventures and the partnership is formed to share the profit. Right? Partnership is formed to share the profit. Right? If they have not that object, it is not a partnership. Right? Partnership is a business, yes, formed to share the profit. Right? It is a relationship between persons carrying on business is common with the view to share the profit. That's a partnership. Right? So therefore, in a partnership, there are some requirements. It has to be a business. Right? But for the partnership, business is very widely intermediate. Business includes any trade, occupation, or profession. That is a medical firm, auditing firm, legal firm. All those are business for the meaning of partnership. Right? And then there must be a business. It has to be carried on in common with the legal profit. So also judges is in the opinion that if there's a partnership, it is to be formed to share the profit. But joint ventures, you can form with some other object. Maybe share the product, maybe share a land, maybe share the technology. You can have a joint venture, right? And joint ventures can also establish form to share the profit. In that case, those joint ventures are also partnership. If a joint venture is also formed to share the profit, it can also be considered as a partnership. Apart from that, there are some other differences as well, right? There's a partnership act, there's no such a law for the joint ventures. Right? In a partnership, even though partners are liable, third parties have option to sue against the first. That means to sue against all the partners. In joint venture, those who sign the agreement are personally liable. Right? Like that, there are some other differences as well. But that was the main difference according to the Australian case. Right, so this is the case name as well here. Like if you are really interested in, you can go through them. All those cases are available online. So this is probably the most, we cannot say it is recent, but compared to the other business form, this is a little new and popular business form. In fact, private-public partnership replaced the privatization. Right? So the privatization was started in England, and even they have now accepted it is outdated. Sri Lankan government has also taken a position that they will not privatize government undertaking. So it was replaced with the private-public partnership, which are very, very popular in other countries like UK, Australia, even India. Okay. So probably you have idea what is private-public partnership, right? So in Sri Lanka, almost all the highways are private-public partnership. Colombo Harbour Jetty is a private-public partnership. Recently, there's a private-public partnership, the Coca-Cola and the water board to clean the water. And like that, there are a number of private-public partnerships in Sri Lanka. So in that business form, basically what they do is, it is the agreement. It is also the type of agreement between the government and the private sector. That may be a private sector or another country. Right? So here government did not spend any money from its budget. Right? But anyway, government has infrastructure, sea, environment, water, rivers. The government do have it. Right? What they don't have is money and the brain when they are in the power. That is probably available with the private sector. Therefore, they can enter into agreement. Basically, private-public partnerships are long-term agreement, like 25 years or more. As an example, Colombo Harbour Jetty is 30 years. So during that time, government will not spend any money. They have to invest, and within that time, so they have to take the investment and profit. At the end of that term period, that set time, they have to hand back that project to the government, making it a public property. So that is the basic concept of the private-public partnership. In Sri Lanka, in charge of private-public partnership act is the BOI. You all are free to give your proposal to the BOI to start a private-public partnership. Then they will consider and contact you. Right? Those type of businesses are very popular even other side of the world today, because one day they will hand over back to the government. Therefore, people don't think it's a privatization. Right? But in countries like Sri Lanka, no, it's the agreement. If there's a good people-friendly government, they will try their best with the agreement to do the best for the citizens of that country. Right? But the country like Sri Lanka is completely different. Then there are such a proposal from the other countries of private sector. Our people will go on that morning, they will only open the data on that morning, right? They know nothing but they are named. But those private sector people will come on the sometimes best lawyers of the world. Right? Then they say we want this highway for 20 years. Then it's a government duty to reduce it to 15 or 18. But what our people will do it, you take it 25 or 30 years and give us another 10%. Right? That is what we do. But in other countries, what they do is they try to reduce the period. Right? If they say we want 500 rupees for this distance, reduce it to 300. Right? Likewise, it's a health share. You have to bargain. Right? And also, if they say 30 years, they will build the harbour, whatever, exactly for the 30 years. Right? At the end of the 30 years, hopefully, there will be no such project. But it's a government duty to make sure that at least they are after the agreement, it will work for another 10 or 15 years. Likewise, it's an agreement. Everything is decided according to the clause of that agreement. So that is why you need the proper, the citizen-friendly government when you enter into the such agreement. Right? They are very nicely done in the UK and India. Right? In UK, I don't wonder whether you have heard in UK there was a London, there was a 5 hospital, very similar to a Sri Lankan hospital is there. Right? Middlesex Hospital and all, there are 5 hospitals. So in UK, NHS is a government thing, so English people don't like to privatize of the NHS. They are against the privatization of the health sector. So therefore, what they did was, they gave it to the private sector. Instead of those 5 places in the London city, they built a huge hospital in the Middlesex, having more than 1,500 beds. So that released 4 other places to the government in London. That itself you can think, maybe, how well it is for the English government. For that Middlesex hospital, some parts are given to that private-public, under that private-public agreement to that private sector. Laundry, car parking, private channels, right? So with that, they have to, the cafes, they have to make their profit and investment. It is given for 30 years, as I remember. Right? I think same thing can be done in the Sri Lanka. You can see the dental hospital, Soisa hospital, general hospital, eye hospital, right? Likewise, there are similar hospitals in there, right? So similar thing they have done. Right? So those are the public-private partnership. In India now they use it very differently. India generally it was first decided it has to be a long-term agreement. But India has used even it for very simple type of business structures, like to have some public toilet in some cities. right? For that, they only given it for sometimes 2 years, sometimes 3 years. It is also used in that way now in India. Right? India, there are some parts they are nothing to do. They can build that as India, right? But nowadays, what they do is they are much better than the Europe countries, the new project. But still, there are some parts in India because it's a huge country. So what they have done is in those places, it was seen by myself on in net one day. Those are the places where even you can't go. That's mess. So those local government has given them to the private sector for 3 years, right? So then they have built very out of the state public toilets. During those 3 years, they can use the advertisement and some money. At the end of the 3 years period, they have to give it back to the local state government. Right? So making it a very good project. And also some pedestrian crossings are also given in India in that way. Only for 2 years, but they can use it for advertising purpose for some that within that 2 years. Right? Likewise, now these private public partnerships are also used for some short-term period assets. Even though at the very beginning it started with a very long-term annual. So, however, at the end of those periods, they have to give back to the government, so making it a public document. So, therefore, it has become some popular business form today, and also it is replaced with the privatization. In Australia, I think mega water project is done as a private-public partnership. In Australia, water is a problem, especially in dry season, right? It's a desert, Australia is a desert, so it is done by the private-public partnership. Right. So there are some other business forms, as franchise, cooperatives, and all. If you have any question, then we can discuss, or we can go to the main topic, corporations. So corporations probably have no doubt is the most popular business form. Right. So what is the corporation? Or company? Company is also corporation, right? What's meant by the term corporation or company? That is a corporation, corporate body. CA is a corporate body. University is a corporate body. All the limited companies are corporate body. Municipal council is a corporate body. Right? So what is meant by corporation? Basically, corporation is an artificial unit. Right? It's an artificial unit or entity. Normally consists of group of individuals, but that is not exactly correct today. Right? Normally consisting of group of individuals with the law treated as having a common will and therefore capable of holding rights and duties. Right? So, corporation is purely artificial unit treated by law as a legal person. Right? So, company law recognizes two types of persons as natural person and artificial person. So, we are natural person. Right? Natural so we are natural person. So company corporation is an artificial person. It is created by law. So those corporations mainly consist of one person, single person. They are known as corporate soul. Generally, corporations are consist of more than one person, group of individuals. So they are known as the corporate aggregation. Can you give me an example for corporate soul? That means there is only one person in the corporation. Example, in Srilanka, do you know if you have a company? So now we have single shareholder companies. We have single shareholder companies, right? Then there's only one person. There's only one person, right? So now companies can incorporate with one member. So they have 100% share freedom to one person. So they are examples for the corporate soul. There's only one person. Right? So they are not available until 2007, but today we have corporations, there's only one member. Single shareholder company. Right? So the best example would be English king or queen. even though we have a Charles, we still remember the Queen name, right? Charles then in the Queen, right? Yes. How is Scotland name? Yes, King is represented by whom? Kate or Camilla?
Sorry, sir.
Who is the Scottish represented by Kate or Camilla instead of the King royal family?
But still the Scottish people are in favor of Queen, sir, because now King Charles is not much popular here. Still, they are
I think no.
more toward the Queen.
Yes, but Queen is no more. Now, who is the King of Scotland, King or Queen?
Now, sir, here we don't have the King of Queen in Scotland.
Kate or Camilla, definitely, yes. I know that in Scottish people, even though this is England, is we say unitary country, it is different. In Scotland, even they don't have a king or queen in their Scottish power. They use the sterling pound, but you don't
Yes.
have India, right? It's a difference.
Yeah.
Even the money is different, and they have a separate cricket team. They have a separate Olympic team, right? In Sri Lanka, how does if the northern province have a separate team? Very tiny, right? But there it is a United Kingdom. They have a separate parliament, right? They have a separate money. They have a separate cricket team. There's nothing wrong with it. But still they respect the King Charles as the King of the United Kingdom, right? But they have a full freedom to decide their things. There are people in Scotland, they never seen London, but they have seen all other Europe countries. Because such powers is delegated to the maximum within the unitary country. Right? Our traditional people cannot even think of that. Right? අපි මැරෙන් දෙයක් ඒ වෙනම ටිකට් ටීමයක් කරනවා කරගන්න නේ right Olympic නේ වෙනම යනවා වෙන Scottish people නේ right but it's still a unitary country right they all respect the king they all respect the House of Lords right so good example for the corporate soul is the English king or queen right where they believe at least there's no gap between two kings. They believe that there's no gap between two kings. Right? Even when they take the coffin of the king or queen, they say, long live the king. What that means? That is how they take the body. That means long live the monarch. That's a corporate body. That will never die. Right? So queen has a two characters. As Elizabeth II has a character. Where she may have the properties of whatever. As a corporate soul, she has the Buckingham Palace that she cannot transact as she wishes because this belongs to that corporation. Monarchical corporation is the Buckingham Palace that she cannot transact. Right? As a natural person, queen never will be sold. As a natural person, they believe queen never do wrong. So queen never will be sued. But as a corporate soul, if any of the government officials done something wrong, then the queen will sue against them. And the people will sue against the queen, against the government official. Right? As a corporate body, she can be sued, but as a natural person, she never will be sued. So she has to do that as a corporate body and as an individual. Right? And so as from the Bishop of Oxford is also a corporate body. It may be John now, it may be Paul in 10 years, but that is also a corporate body. Right? So those are examples for the corporate sort. Now also we have single shareholder companies. But generally corporations are consist of more than one person. Example, a university consists of the vice chancellor and the council members. A company consisting of the chairman and board of directors. A municipal council consisting of the mayor and members. So generally that is the corporation. Right. So when you say about the corporations, what are the multinational, transnational companies today? Yes, what's the number one business today? Yes, the business people. One thing you need to know is when you look at about the top 10 or top 100 brands of business, 90% belong more really to the digital business. IT sector. Right? There are some companies like Coca-Cola and all, but not within custom IT, right? So maybe 90% belong to the IT. So probably best brand today is Microsoft, Google, Apple, right? From retail exports, I think that is also thanks to the digital business. Then, who is it? Amazon is also there. So retail. But on the top 10 brand, thanks to the digital business. We are in UK, right? You have Amazon in Scotland?
Yes, sir, we do have.
Fully digital, isn't it?
Sorry?
Fully digital. No people at all. Is it available in Scotland?
I'm not clear, sir, what you're saying.
There are some Amazon stores in London. They are fully automatic. There's no physical beings at all. You have to go, you have to select, you have to pay. So they have given some cards or something. So they will recognize you when you enter. Even many of the supermarkets are also same in UK and New Zealand and Australia. They are fully automatic. No cashiers. Right? No owners. You have to go, check, wait, pay, and come back. Right? So fully automatic environment. Right. So those are the business today. Almost all the main business are related to the IT. Right. Why I want to tell this that almost all of them are companies, corporations. Right. All those multinational transnational companies are corporations. So they are subject to the Companies Act of the relevant country, which is registered. And at the same time, maybe almost all the shops either side of the gold road are also limited liability companies. Maybe belong to one person or husband and wife. Therefore, companies include those simple business run by the husband or one person, and also include multinational transnational companies. They also include places like schools, churches, universities. In fact, at the very beginning, concept of corporation were only permitted for such social entities. The first corporations were started, commenced in England, derived in England, developed in England. So they were boroughs. Boroughs means municipal councils, and then churches and universities. In fact, at the very beginning of the concept of corporation, English Parliament or English government rejected to give a corporate status for the business. Today, whenever we talk about the company, automatically comes the business to our mind, right? But at very beginning, they rejected to give corporate status to the purely profit-making business, because they were in the opinion that if it was given to the profit-making organization, they will forget the social responsibility one day. And it has happened in many cases. That is why now there's a separate subject is developed as corporate governance. Right? So corporate governance is the main subject today. Right? Even though I said that our Companies Act is very similar to a new development, but in those countries, corporate governance is now far beyond than the Srilanka, right? Recently, a case was decided, the company was bankrupt and it was wound up. The court decided even the wound up company has a responsibility to environment, right? So if something happened to the environment, even though company wound up, still they have the responsibility to clean it, right? Even the companies bankrupt or wound up, still they cannot go away with that responsibility, right? I don't think in Sri Lanka we are in that step until today, right? But that is how they concerned about the social responsibility of the companies. Right. So that is why people rejected to give such status to the purely profit-making business at the beginning. So anyway, there are two theories. I think still they are there. Some people believe that corporations have to maximize the profit for the shareholder. They have nothing else. But some people believe they have a social responsibility. Right? This is a never-ending argument in corporate law. Right? So company is also a type of population. Right? Company is also another type of population. So in law, it is common that there are no exact meaning for many terms. That is one reason that some people hate law. Right? Law itself has no clear meaning. Right? If I ask what is law, probably you will say different type of meaning, and also probably you will struggle to say what is law. Right? Because there's no clear meaning for the terms law. Right? Some people say laws are, clearly different meaning. Right? So what do you mean by the law? Rules, regulations, okay. But this, not all rules, regulations are not all in meaning. If there are multi-rectangles are going on, so there are critical rules and regulations. What if you dating a team with 4 people, right? 4 posts per over, right? For the 5 kg, right? So you are very difficult. Will you be punished? Why? Those rules are not laws. There's a breach of law, then there are punishments. Rules and regulations become laws only if they are passed by the proper authority. Who has the proper authority? Who has a yes, parliament. If those rules and regulations are passed by the parliament, then we have to take it accordingly. Right? Then it becomes a law. But otherwise, there are so many other people, rules, organizations, they can make rules, regulations, but they are not laws. They are passed by the ICC. They have no power authority to pass laws to government. Therefore, we don't need to obey them. Right? However, if they are passed by the proper authority, then they are laws we have to comply with. So therefore, some people say laws are the rules, regulations passed by the parliament. But some people say, even though parliament passed laws, the court has the right to interpret. It is true that parliament can pass laws, but parliament cannot interpret the law. The interpretation of law is a part of the unique part of the court. Therefore, some people are in the opinion that laws are the principles decided by judges. Some people say laws are the rules passed by the parliament and accepted by the judges. Right? So some people say laws are expedient. Right? Can't you write English? Yes. Right. What's his name? Huh? Galle, are you still there? Galle, are you still there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you know anything about the English Constitution?
That was no idea, sir. I didn't study on that.
Yes. They don't have a constitution. Yes. What's your good name? Nisal. Nisal. Well, Nisal says England has no constitution.
Oh, sorry, sir. No idea. I don't have any idea.
Yes. Is it possible for a country not to have a constitution?
It cannot be, no, sir.
Yes. But Nisal knows something. Every country has a constitution. But in England, their constitution is not written. Right? They do not have a written constitution. Right? When English constitution is their tradition. They can have it because they are politically mature nation. Even though they break laws, they never will break a tradition. So they have a constitution, they have a queen. Queen will appoint prime minister, right? So they have a cabinet, right? So all those are their constitution, but it is their tradition, it's not written. Right? We can't even think of that, right? We can't even, that's why I said they are politically mature nation, right? Those their traditions were written in 1948 as a Colombo constitution here in Srilanka. That we cannot have a monarchy or something, they are written as a Colombo constitution, right? But they do have a constitution, it is not written. Right? Some few Middle East countries also have no written constitution, but it is not the issue for them because in those strict Middle East countries, their constitution and administration, everything is Quran. Therefore, Quran is considered as a constitution. Right? Apart from that, all other countries today have a written constitution, which is started with American constitution. America has a first written constitution, then France and India and Sri Lanka and all. But especially when there are federal countries, they do have a written constitution. Because for the federal country, there are two lists for the central government and the states. It has to be clearly mentioned. Therefore, in federal countries, they do have a written constitution. But some usual countries, they do not have a constitution. But it doesn't mean they don't have a constitution, they don't have a written constitution. What I wanted to say is that sometimes laws are tradition, experience. Right? So laws are not essentially written thing, right? In any country, the highest law is the constitution. Right? The highest law in England is their tradition. Right? Any bankers here? Yes. Yes. Many banking rules are also traditions, practice. Right? In Sri Lanka, you won't pay if a check is older than 6 months. There is such a law. It is not in the bill of exchange or also in other. It is a banking practice. That practice has become a law. Right? Therefore, sometimes laws are practices, traditions. Right? Therefore, what I try to say to you is that it is really hard to define some terms. Law itself is a term that it is very difficult to define. In a philosophical meaning, there are different meanings that we are don't need to explain here, right? The philosophical research canon, they have a very different meaning for the term. Right? Some people, there are some schools, right? So natural law schools, right? So Marxist feminism, right? So likewise, there are positivism. There are different meaning for the term law. So basically, natural law school believe that only the laws which comply with the nature are laws. Nothing else. So they believe laws against abortion, gay marriage, suicide, they don't accept as laws because they believe they are against the nature. But positivism school says there's no relationship between the law and nature. If the laws are passed by the proper authority like parliament, if majority accept, then they are laws. That's the positivism laws, right? Feminism says laws are there to discriminate the females. Marxism says laws are there to protect the rich people. Right? But they will justify the answers. Right? Likewise, there are different philosophical meaning for the term law as well. Right? But however, law is something which is not a stagnation thing, which change day by day. So the law I learned was the Compliance Act number 17 of 1982. But that is completely replaced by the 2007 Act. But I teach today completely different law. Right? One time, 7 members required to incorporate a company. Today, even a single member can incorporate a company. Therefore, law is not such a stagnant thing. It changes day by day, especially scale according to the needs of the society. Those who are in the Europe countries probably will have also some changes of law. Right? As an example, some Scandinavian countries. Is there anyone here? So they have legalized what is called euthanize, the suicide. Is legalized in some countries, but it was a criminal offense one time. So they have a right to do. They can go to the court and ask that I want to get dead, I want to die. Then the court will permit them to die. Right. There are some assisted suicide which is legalized. Right. Pustaga gaya, private gaya gata. Man don't know any box gati na ante mohon ka. Man don't know yes ke baat ke bola within 10 minutes oxygen level will be decreased to 90%. And you will die. Peace. Right? So such simple. And it has become a fight. Right? At one time, to be a gay was a criminal offense in UK, which is punishable by burnt alive. Right? To be a gay in UK was a criminal offense punishable by burnt alive. Today in Westminster Parliament, there are 30 gay and lesbians, openly 30 gay and lesbians. Now they make laws, right? If there may be some markets, there are open people because before they contest, they say that I am gay, I am lesbian. But people have voted there, right? So there are 30 such openly gay and lesbian people in Westminster Parliament. But at one time, it was an offence punishable by burnt alive. So that is the law now, right? So that changed day by day, right? And place to place. So therefore, sometimes the law we teach and you learn today may not be the law that you have to apply. Therefore, you have to keep in touch because law change according to the needs of the society, right? So I came to hear that the law, some terms are not technical meaning. The term law has no real meaning. When you learn about the franchise law, term offer has a completely different meaning than what the general public believe. Term consideration, we don't know what's the meaning, right? So likewise, no. So as in many terms in law, likewise, term company also have no technical law real meaning. It does not have a technical or legal meaning. So generally, company means an association of group of persons with a common purpose, right? So that's the general meaning for the company. Americans use the term company even to mean the partnership. Even in Sri Lanka before 1987, partnership firms were named as an company. But generally in Commonwealth countries, we use the term company to mean limited liability company. Therefore, whenever I represent the term company, it means the limited liability company incorporated under the Companies Act. However, under this topic, an association of group of persons with a common purpose, there are two types of association, like partnership and the limited liability company. Those two are completely two different types of business. Right. Do you need a break? Right. Okay, then have a break and then we will continue. You people also have a coffee or you've got a whiskey, right? And we'll meet up in 15 minutes time.